got a package.
Yeah.
You have skills. You do. I probably need one.
A mint?
Oh, thank you.
Wintergreen. Mint?
Nope.
Anyone?
I'm good.
That's code for my breath's terrible.
I always prefer mint.
Your
Never-
breath, your breath
never
is
turn down a mint.
terrible.
No, it's not. Jerry's addicted to it. Have you ever seen Jerry Mint? I'll
Just saying.
open my bag and get a mint.
Especially when you go into ketosis, your breath kind
See, it's right there.
of ketones kind of stink.
Oh, you sent the
Yeah.
council thing?
Yeah, I did.
Ooh.
Okay. I have to compare my
All this rotten food they give us to Steve.
monthly reports to the other guys to see my,
Yeah.
because I need to make them better.
No, yeah, you're right.
Don't this
Oh my
time.
gosh.
Why? I already did.
I found out food's
Don't
only
evaluate
1/3 of
this
the
time.
problem.
Don't evaluate this time.
Pardon?
Why? Who
Food
did
is only
that?
1/3 of the problem.
No.
Well, yeah. You know another problem is radiation.
Yeah, it's food, it's water,
I know. And I-
magnetism,
I told
and
you
light.
afterwards, oh my God,
And
I'm not
microwave.
sure. That's scary.
That falls into light.
That's what he
'Cause
said.
it's in the
So
EMF
why are we
spectrum.
doing them?
Microwave radiation. Wait till they turn on 5G. Woohoo!
Have you noticed that I
You know, I've already
showed
shielded
Mhm.
my house. You know,
And nobody said anything.
Eat more fish.
And not Pacific.
It's okay.
That's
I'm
all.
I'm gonna
If you
check.
spin up your mitochondria enough, it doesn't matter.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I'm on record that Debbie forgot my thing.
If you're running at full voltage, doesn't matter.
I really
That's
don't.
what I found out. I've been doing. I got about 60 hours of research.
Check.
Thank you so much.
No, I didn't.
It's okay. I'm still going to get everyone else's receipts. I'm gonna put some gel or something.
This, just so you know, this is a class from Baker College. It's a planning class, and they have been working on plans for the farmstead.
Oh.
And they were out here once and went over the property. Today they came back and they had some questions before they finalized their plans. Then they have one more week to put the program together. Then they're going to come back the next week and show us the end results and grading. They're working with Ron Campbell from Oakland County Planners, so he'll be with us for a meeting tonight as well.
That's good ideas. I like the idea of a tree house that is really cool.
Oh,
Kids or people.
Hmm?
Oh, we got one out there.
It's okay, you gave me this. You're fine. That's awesome. Finally, you make one mistake. Finally.
Trust.
Yeah, consumers had to really mess up corner down
You don't
there
have to
in
apologize.
Fish Lake and Grange Hall with that substation they got.
Did you measure it? Is it how far is it bleeding out?
Oh, I didn't have them measured.
She's behind me. I'll get a big certificate.
It's out.
It's out there.
I'm not.
Oh, yeah.
I had them come in. I put in a complaint for leakage.
Do you?
2 transformers, the one on end of John Street by Maple and the one on Maple and Martha and
She
John.
does?
They sent scouts out.
I could paper my
Years
room.
ago, you
I
know
said,
how
I
many-
can't listen to WJR when I turn down that street. It goes away.
I love Steve.
Well, yes, that's just what I was gonna say.
Certificates.
You turn transistor radio down on the lowest station there is, and then you walk away from it, you know, when it comes on.
That's it. It's a barrier.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, you nice. That's awesome. I'm proud.
I do now.
Yeah, my
I do now.
chiropractor
Yeah.
told me that.
Is that a good one? Where is he at?
Painless chiropractics and
Benton. Nice. If he's good, I need to find one close.
oh, he is good.
Okay.
I need to borrow an agenda because mine's on the table.
I really like that. This is Katie's book. Mine's all written in. You paid for it. I figured yours.
We will open the meeting at 7 o'clock.
Yes.
do you want to do roll call?
Mishler? Putz?
Here.
Cooley? Canny?
Here.
Shield?
Here.
Hollis?
Here. I make a motion that we excuse Joe Mishler. He's not here this evening as it is his anniversary.
So moved.
I second that motion.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we excuse Joe Mishler from the meeting. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? I did not hear from Dave Coley, so I'm not sure. Along with your roll call, if you would include Ron Campbell. And Debbie, make a note that he was added at the last council meeting as a member ex aficionado to the commission. He is here. I will say that at the next council meeting, it's my understanding that they will be approving Nicole Arnold as our 7th commissioner. Is that correct, Debbie?
She's on the agenda for Tuesday.
For Tuesday.
If they approve her, yes.
Yeah, so she's up for approval on Tuesday. She was going to try to be here tonight just so she could kind of get on board with what we're doing, and then her father fell at home and broke his hip.
Ooh.
So he was having surgery on that, so she's not able to be with us this evening. So next, I need approval of the agenda.
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes of January 18th of 2018.
Second.
It's been moved by Ryan Shields, support by Richard Putz, that we approve the agenda. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. There's nobody here for me to read the statement of purchase, or statement of purchase purpose.
Minutes or agenda did you approve, Brian?
We approve the agenda. That means I got to go to the approval of the minutes. Sorry. Thank you, Debbie.
Didn't I make the motion to approve the minutes?
He said minutes when he did it.
You said minutes?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We just reversed.
Which would you like?
Okay, well now let's approve the agenda.
I'll make the motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
And Richard Putz seconded that one. Now the only thing I need to add, because it was the agenda, if we were doing approval of minutes, I would have raised the question. Dave, come on in.
I got lost, guys. I've been walking the halls for 20
Oh.
minutes.
I was gonna say,
Oh,
you come in this
I didn't
door.
know I had to come in that door. Someone.
Sorry.
I've had this conversation with Jerry Walker and Dave Noose. I said we really need a sign out there that says meeting room.
Right.
Well, I came in the door. I came in the entrance down there, and I walked this way. Didn't see anything. I walked all the way back that way, and everyone I asked said, "I don't know where that is." So, anyway,
It's-
my sincerest
Board
apologies.
of Education room. But
I said that 100 times. Nobody knew where it was until
I'll-
Kathy showed me. She knew.
I'll tell you what, just to make you feel better, when I did what you just did, they sent me to the high school. And then I got to high school and somebody said, "No, it's over at Carwood." I said, "I was just at Carwood." They said, "Yeah, but you got to go out the door on the corner." So at
Okay,
least
good.
you didn't have to go all the way to the high school.
No, I wouldn't have either. I'd have just gone home.
So yeah, we've had this conversation more than once. If it's your first time coming here, this is a hard room to find. Anyway, so we're in the process of. If I were approving the minutes, I would have said, were there any additions, deletions? So apparently nobody had any if they knew we were on minutes. Everybody was okay with that? Okay, now we're on the agenda, so we'll just go ahead. We've got it moved and seconded to approve the agenda. I'll say aye.
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 Opposed? We're good. We're done. We're there. I'm
Now
gonna
we're
go
at the
ahead-
purpose.
I'm going to go ahead and read the statement of purpose for Dave's sake, and I think Debbie's heard it before, but if not, the mission of the Holly Historic District Commission is to safeguard the heritage of the village of Holly by preserving the historic districts in the village that reflect elements of the village's history, architecture, archaeology, engineering, and culture. The goal of the Commission's work is to stabilize and improve property values in the historic districts and in the surrounding areas, to foster civic beauty, strengthen the local economy, and to promote the use of the historic districts for the education, pleasure, and welfare of the citizens of Holly. The next thing on the agenda would be the public comment. We don't have anybody in the public. We will move to old business, which would be the railroad depot. We met with both representatives of CNN and of CSX CSX is the railroad track that curves by Red Devil. CNN is the one that goes straight through. They're run by two different rail
Oh, I didn't know that.
companies. And the conversation was regarding moving the depot. Many people have asked me today, how did that go? Are we going to do it? That meeting, basically what that produced was a willingness to cooperate, was a willingness to move forward on the property. It was an understanding that the both the property in between the tracks that people used to park across from the Moose and the Crapo Park and parking lot, those are all owned by the railroad companies, and they are willing to sell them. They consider them extra property that they're trying to shed themselves of. So that's a possibility going forward, and we'll be working out the details. So this meeting was basically to look at the building, to understand where we were, to understand who the players were, and to understand that there was an element of cooperation going forward. With that understanding, we realized there's a lot of homework to do. This is a project that could well take a couple of years to accomplish. But everybody's on that plate, and we have to do a lot of work. We have to figure out the hows, the wheres, how to pay fors, the whole thing. So, but it was a good meeting, and I think we walked away with everybody had smiles on their faces. So, was there anything, Mr. McGee, that you wanted to add to this? Ron, we were talking about
No, I'm good.
the depot building.
Perfect.
That's good.
Yeah, you're fine.
Right there. So, although there's a name tag, whose nameplate's there?
Joe.
Mischler's.
Oh, Joe. Okay, so we're good. Yep. So we were just talking about the train depot, and the meeting that was had with both CNN and CSX went well. There was a feeling of cooperation from everybody. There's an opportunity to acquire both pieces of property, move home. So now it's time to get. We have all the connections, who to talk to, and now we have to begin the process of how to. So that'll be the next step. You probably got a report from Joe when he came back.
Yep.
So, okay. So then the second thing under old business is the HDC boundaries. When they contacted me this week, or this month, and said we didn't have anything on the agenda, do you still want to have a meeting? I said I think we need to have one so that everybody on the board understands where we're going. Unfortunately, 2 of the 3 people that this was to benefit aren't here. One because Joe has an anniversary, and Nicole Arnold, who hasn't been appointed to the board but is on the agenda at next Tuesday's meeting, was going to be in the audience to at least start to get a grasp of what's going on. I know that Dave did the bus tour with us when we looked at the historic district. From that time, what has happened was Steve McGee and I made an appointment with Amy Arnold. Now, the lady that was here on that tour was Ellen Thackeray and Mallory. The appointment that I made was Amy Arnold in the SHPA office in Lansing. Steve and I drove over there, and we met with Amy and Mallory, who had been on the bus tour. And my concern was, and we don't have a map. Do we have a map of the district
I
tonight?
didn't bring it.
We didn't bring, we just have the small one. But I will hold this up. This was the proposed map by the committee that Ron was a part of. Am I correct?
Well, we provided the maps. We supplemented their request.
But did you work on the boundary
We took
line?
not necessarily. I took them on. I was the driver
Okay.
for the tour.
Okay, so this was the proposed area by the committee. The one concern I had was that this was a lot larger than I had originally expected, and I was concerned about some of these areas having contributing factors. So the meeting that Steve and I had with Amy Arnold and Mallory was, how do we fine-tune what this district would be? And we also were able to develop the understanding that a historic district doesn't have to be contiguous. It could be pockets. And one of the things that Amy told us was that it's very important that as we put this historic district together and the proposal together that we will take to the council, that we need to have a history behind it. In other words, a reason why this is the historic district. Am I pretty perfect? Close on that? So that's the next stage that we need to work. Were we able to find the black notebooks?
You know, I didn't look.
Oh,
So I printed everything
Debbie?
else out, but no.
There were 2 large black notebooks that had pictures of all the homes in the historic district, and for a while they sat in the room opposite the chamber room as you walked in the door around the corner. Do you know if they're still there?
I'll check first of the week and send you an email.
I can't read those lips, sorry.
Opposite of the chamber room, I'm just trying to figure out where you mean. In
The chamber's here, there's a room over here.
the community room?
Is that what you call it? Okay, the community
With the
room.
round tables where we
Yep.
had the CDGB meeting?
Yes.
Oh,
There were 2 notebooks on that table in the corner at one time.
I can check.
Okay, that's what we need to locate, because we need to see if those are updated, and those will allow us to go section by section. We'll probably need a workshop to do that one night, so that we can determine that pictures are updated, that are current, and that we have contributing factor, because Ron, correct me if I'm wrong, I think in order to consider it, it has to be 50% or more?
Typically, yes.
Typically, yeah, okay. So those are the things, that's the checklist that's in front of us at this point. That's the next step, is to go to this and say, here's what we've got, here's the story behind it. I know Nicole was working on, Amy Arnold brought up the pickle houses. For those of us that are new to town, we kind of went the who to what. Of course, we do know there was a pickle factory here in Holly, and apparently there was a section that when the pickle factory opened, they built a few houses, worker housing. And she said that would be a historical district. That would not necessarily be your big, grand, and glorious Victorian home or your Italianate home. They might be just a row of houses that all match, but the contributing factor is these were the pickle houses. That's what makes this section historical. Does everybody understand that going forward? Yep. So that's what we need to look at next. And I was hoping that we could look at this map with those people. I'll have to have some ancillary meetings going forward to bring them on board. But that's kind of what that's the place that we're at now. And that's why we went ahead with the meeting. Have you've received your Department of the Interior and your material? The village gave you that? Set you all up there, Dave?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So,
Got some.
you'll have a chance to review that, and if you have any questions, we'll help you along.
Okay.
You unfortunately come on while I'm the chair. If you had been on here earlier when Nancy Rebar here was the chair, she's like the expert. I'm not necessarily the expert, but Nancy had, 15 years sitting in this chair?
I know over 10, I'm not sure.
Yeah, yeah. She was here quite a long time, but it was military form when Nancy was here. And she knew that Secretary of the Interior inside and out, so. And so somebody needs to pick up that part of the ball, because I don't know it like, I know it, I'm familiar with it, but I don't know it like she did. So, were there any questions anybody had?
I guess mine is, where are the pickle houses?
Straight down the street, basically. That away, in that corner. So,
What streets?
well, there's a few streets. So it'd be down east and then in towards the center of the village, kind of spidered out. So
Okay.
that's what, and when we start doing hydrant inspections, I'm going to take pictures of the houses and we're going to compare them to those black books as well.
All right.
Yep, so that was something we didn't, when Steve and I were there, neither one, that was a first for us.
Right.
And then I came back and Linda Smith knew about them. She's looking to see what they have at the Historical Society that'll talk about the pickle houses. And I was hoping tonight, because Joe loves to do research on that stuff, that he might have picked that up. But we'll have to connect with him. So
Where too will be doing the research. Is it volunteers that will be doing it, or?
the second phase, yeah, any volunteer that wants to help, we certainly wouldn't turn people away.
Because at the last committee, we brought in Carol Egbo, and she did training. It was very interesting. How you go about researching a property, and we could bring her in again. There's no cost.
Okay, well, we could set up a workshop. The trick is getting it. Is a Saturday, or is it usually an evening that works better?
I had to check with Carol, but
Okay.
she's done both. So
I think what we have to do is find out what dates she has available to us, give us a couple, we decide which one fits best. Because in this day and age, we're never going to find a date that works for everybody. That's almost impossible to do. Tonight worked for everybody, and we lost 2 people due to the fact that Joe didn't remember it was his anniversary until today.
Dangerous.
I didn't need to put that in the minutes.
And, yeah, don't put that in the minutes. And,
You're on YouTube, George.
oh, okay. Well, and Nicole Arnold's dad slipped and broke his hip. So you never can get a night where everybody shows up. It just doesn't seem to work.
And I will say, if you're planning to take any photographs, this is an ideal time because the leaves are not out, and you want to try to catch the structure kind of a half view on two sides, two elevations at the same time. So
Well, these pages are they supposedly exist. That work was done. We just
Oh,
need to
okay.
find it and get our hands on it.
Yeah.
So that's what at one time I was told it was the 2 notebooks in that room on the table, and we just need to track them down and
I'll
see
check
where
it.
we're at.
I'll work on it and I'll let you know Monday.
Okay. So, were there any other questions? Sure, Steve, go ahead.
Just, maybe we can YouTube or video, Carol's training and, future other trainings that Amy had suggested to you, just for people who couldn't make that day or night.
Sure, absolutely. Nope.
that's a good idea because that's Carol. What she puts on is really for any homeowner or property owner that wants to research the history of their property.
Maybe we can put a link on our webpage to click on that. That'd be kind of neat.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Okay. And that name again was what again?
Carol Egbo, E-G-B-O, and she's with the County Historical Commission. She spoke at the Dixie Highway. She did all the research for us on Dixie Highway
Oh, okay.
for the conference a few years ago.
Right. Another announcement that I can make is the moving down to commission and staff comment, seeing as we've taken care of that. The Holly Township, last night at their board meeting, has approved to go through the paperwork to become a certified local government and create a couple of historic districts within the township, one of them, of course, being the farmstead. And then that'll make us eligible for some grant monies that are available there as well. So,
Nice.
and I want to work with Bob DePalma and Colin Walls from Springfield and Groveland and talk about doing a historic district overlay for Dixie Highway.
Good.
So we're gonna try to move forward on that as well.
With the ORV park coming in. That's,
Yep, with the ORV park coming in, yeah, we want to make sure that it doesn't end up looking like a Las Vegas strip through there.
Or points.
Or what?
Or points south.
Yeah, right. Was there anything else at this time? Ryan, do you have any comments?
Nope.
Richard?
No comment.
Mr. Mike?
Thank you for all your help.
And Dave, we're glad to have you on board.
Good
Yes,
to be
welcome
here.
aboard.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Is it Dave Cooley or Coley?
Coley?
Dave Coley, all right. And Ron Campbell, as always, we appreciate your energy and effort and expertise.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And Steve McGee, thank you for your time riding to Lansing and getting through that day. That was an interesting
I learned a lot.
meeting. Yeah, it was fun. And Debbie, we always appreciate your efforts. With that being said, we will adjourn this meeting at 7:24.
That was quick. Scratch that from the minutes, please.
Again, you're still on YouTube.